Drumcast about how to count 16th note rock beats. Beats like this. I know some of you look at it and go, I don't know how to count that. Well, it's easier than you think. Let me explain. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 eighth notes. These are for the hi-hat, let's say. Could be for the ride cymbal, but it doesn't matter. For now, let's say the hi-hat. So you can see they're all eighth notes, which means they go the same speed. Bop, 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 bop. 1 and 2 and yum, bum, bum, bum. They do not go bum, 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 bum. That's not the same speed. Bum, 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 bum. That's the same speed. So when you see the hi-hat line like that, make sure that you are playing a steady beat, regardless of how fast or slow. So when you're looking at 16th note beats, there's really only two possibilities. You can have a note, and I'll put a little dot there, that's usually the snare, but it could be a bass drum, it could be a tom. Okay, it's just a note for now. There's either a note at the same time as the hi-hat because it's underneath, or it could be there, directly in the middle of this note and this note, which means it comes exactly in between. There's no other possibility when you're dealing with 16th notes. Okay? It's either with the hi-hat or it's exactly in between two hi-hat beats. If you remember that these are steady, it's a very simple matter to put this in-between note exactly in the middle where it belongs. Okay? And it goes without saying that if the note is with the hi-hat, it's at the same time. So that's all there is. So let's say you had this kind of rhythm. In fact, I'm not even going to put any more. I'm not going to put anything underneath it. You don't even have to know. Let me finish it actually. Let's say you have this. Okay? Even if you've never seen this rhythm before, or for some reason don't know how to count it, you can still play this. And that's because when you play this note here, both the hi-hat and the snare play at the same time. Let's assume this is snare. Here the snare is exactly in between. There you have your hi-hat note. It's by itself. And here you have the next snare note that again is exactly between now these two notes. Okay? If you want to count it, it's actually 1 E and A. 1 E, there's your and. That lines up. A. And it would sound like this. Do it right here. 1 E and da. Two hands together. Boop. Right, left. Right, two hands together. Right, left. Okay? Let's do another one. What if you had this? Okay? It's not a very straight line, sorry. Let's just ignore, what this is and what this band and all that stuff means. Let's just look at where these note heads, these dots are lined up. Like I said, it can either be in between exactly or with the hi-hat. And here you can tell that it's in between. And this note over here is underneath, so it's with that hi-hat. So there's your 1 and 2 and. As I said before, because these are all the same notes, eighth notes, they're the same speed. So, this note is going to be in between. Don't forget about this note down here. This note is lined up with this hi-hat beat. So this, which happens to be the bass drum, lines up with this note, which is the and of 1. This note here is called the and of 1. So it's 1 E and 2 and. And this last note here, the snare drum, is exactly with the and of 2, or just this note. Even if you didn't know how to count, and of course you all know how to count, it's very similar to the rock band idea. If you've played rock band, except the stream is going this way rather than this way. In music, you read this way, correct? With rock band, you're reading down this way. The direction is just changed. So let's say I'm not even going to write hi-hat notes. I'm going to write dots, like in rock band. There's a steady stream of dots. If in rock band, it'd be going, you know, that way. So if I put a note under there, and a note there, let's say another note there, and then a note there and there, okay? Those line up. This is in the middle. Line up. Nothing there. In the middle. Line up. Now let's turn these into actual drum notation. These are cymbal notes. Let's just say they're the hi-hat. Okay. If I were to let's make a rhythm out of this, it would be that, and I would have to put a rest to make up 16th rest. So that's how it would look actually if you convert it to standard notation. And you can even, of course, you can do it with standard notation, even if you forget how to count, which you shouldn't. This is 1 E and 2 E and. Even if you don't know how to count, you can see where it lines up.